Good morning.
Good morning. I'm glad to see you as usual. Good morning. Good morning. We are waiting as usual. So, how are you, students?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
Okay, perfect. It's morning, and I hope you woke up. And it was in time. Today we have, as I understand, our last lecture. Am I right? Do you know or not?
No, we don't know actually.
You don't know, but as I know, our lecture today is last lecture in this semester. And next lecture will be in the next semester. It was not so many lectures because I have more material, more information. Maybe it's not so good. But today we'll discuss some topic, and this topic, system of law and system of legislation. System of law and system of legislation. I'm sure that you know this topic, you know information about this topic, and you know what is system of law and what is system of legislation. Am I right again?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. That is why it will be not so difficult to understand in English, yeah, what is the system of law and system of legislation. Of course, we'll speak about Ukrainian, I mean national system of law and its elements. And of course, we'll speak about system of law in UK. I think it will be interesting. We can compare these systems, and maybe we will notice some differences and maybe some similar facts of these systems of law and systems of legislation. So I think I can start. And our questions today. First question about system of national law and its elements. System of national law and its elements. Do you remember some elements of our national law system?
Я не совсем.
No? Maybe other student? I think you discussed this topic at the seminar even, not only at the lecture. Okay, maybe you remember that the first element and little element, yeah, of the system of law is norm, yeah. Then after norm, we can speak about bigger element, and this element is institute of law. And then maybe you remember already, after institutes, we can speak about students. Are you sleeping?
No, no.
No, but you don't
Я
remember.
ищу.
But you don't remember some elements of system of law. Okay, I'll say the biggest, yeah, element of the system of law is branch of law. I hope you remember the translation, yeah, of these words, and now you remember something about the system of law. So that's why our second question will be about branches of law and institutes of law. Next question, we'll discuss a big part of the system of law in our national law, in our national legal system, and it will be public and private law. I hope you remember this. Public and private law. And another big parts of our system of law, substantive law and procedure law. Substantive law and procedure law. Maybe you know another word, and more understandable will be I can use more understandable word, and it's what can be material law, not substantive, material law. But the right term of this material law in English, substantive law. I hope you can understand this moment. And last question, system of legislation. So our topic, system of law and system of legislation, and our questions about some elements of system of law, some parts of the legal system, and of course system of law in Ukraine, in UK, and system of legislation. I hope you can understand our topic now. Do you remember something already or not? Students.
Я сейчас тетрадку открыл, у меня это не записано почему-то.
In Ukrainian, yeah?
Да. Не знаю, у меня с норм права сразу началось.
It's a big surprise for me because, of course, you should know the system of law and system of legislation. Okay, if you don't remember this topic in Ukrainian or Russian, we'll speak about this topic in English. I think it will be some part of your knowledge, yeah, obligatory part of your knowledge in this sphere of general theoretical jurisprudence. Okay, system of national law consists, again, of legal norms distributed to branches and institutes of law. And here you should understand, maybe you should think about the system of law like some circles, yeah, and the little circle, it will be norms. The bigger circle will be institutes, and the biggest will be branches of law. Here I should say something about features, of course, features of the system of law. Firstly, I should say about the structure of law, and the structure of law is determined by actual social, economic, political, national, religious, cultural, and historical factors. It cannot be created by personal will, even by will of lawmakers. The system of national law is shaped by unique history of the country and incorporates individual variations. If you remember the idea about the historical school of law, here you should remember that, of course, some norms and creation of the law have a big link, has a big link with the unique history of the country, with the unique history of the legal system. And very important moment, you should understand the difference between system of law and legal system. Yeah, I said what is system of law a few minutes ago. Yeah, and you remember some examples of the legal system. Yeah, and examples of this legal system: Anglo-American, yeah, Roman Germany, religion, legal system, tradition legal system, and so on. So, therefore, sets of branches and institutes of law vary in the national systems of law. For example, in Ukrainian law, we don't have tort law. Yeah, we don't have tort law in the system of Ukrainian law, whereas English system has such tort law. Later, I'll explain what is tort law. However, every major system of law includes, for example, constitutional law, criminal law, civil law, and so on. Okay, maybe now you can say me that you remember something from this topic, that you remember some branches of law. Yes, oh, thank you. It's just perfect, because I was worried a bit about this moment. Okay, next feature, integrity and communication of legal norms. Of course, we must understand that legal norms cannot function separately without any connection. For example, constitutional freedoms of speech and press are tightly connected and, in addition, correspond with criminal and administrative regulations, and so on. Yeah. any norms cannot function separately. And especially legal norms cannot function separately without any connection. The third feature, structural variety. Structural variety. It means that the system of law consists of various structural elements. And again, here we should remember about norms, institutes, branches. It's a very simple structure. Then, fourth element, fourth feature, not element, feature. It's combination of dynamics and stability. Dynamics and stability. It's a very interesting feature because branches of law are supporting elements of the system of law. For example, branches of constitutional, administrative, civil, criminal law, and so on, form a skeleton of the system of law, while legal norms provide dynamism of the system of law. They quickly react to the changing social relations. The set of the branches of law changes slowly. Yeah, we can say about norms that they quickly react to the changing of social relations, but the set of branches of law changes slowly. And at the same time, there are new branches of law. Yeah, new branches of law. For example, informative law, banking law, medical law, and so on, and so on. I hope everything was understandable. Yeah, about features.
Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you, Mikhail. And of course, again, I want highlight, yeah, the situation that primary structural elements of the system of law are following: legal norms, institutes of law, and branches of law. But I hope that you remember again the system of law has elective elements. And these elective elements of the system of law are sub-branches and sub-institutes of law. Yeah, sub-branches and sub-institutes of law. For example, we know that electoral law exists. Yeah, and electoral law is a sub-branch of constitutional law. Another example, institute of crimes against a person, includes sub-institute of crime against life. Yeah, we have bigger institute and we have sub-institute of crimes against life in the institute of crimes against a person. A legal norm is an initial element of the system of law, and the institutes of law and branches of law consists of legal norms. If you have some questions, you can write this question in chat as usual, or just ask me something. Don't you have any question?
No, we don't.
Okay, perfect. And it was just the first question. Second question about branches of law and institutes of law. So, what is this again? I said many times that the central links of the system of law is branch of law. Yeah, not so little element, but the central. Yeah, central. The branch of law, we can use in other words, for example, field of law, area of law. What is this? The branch of law is a set of principles and rules established by a government or other authority, generally defined by its scope or application. So the branch of law regulates a type of social relations by the specific method of the legal regulation. Yeah, here you can see this definition, and again you should remember that the branch of law regulates a type of social relations by the specific method of legal regulation. But later we'll speak what is the specific method of legal regulation, but I think you should know this too. So the branch of law has a relative autonomy. It can function almost independently. For example, property legal relations can arise, change, and stop on the basis of only branch of law, for example, civil law. It is possible not to turn to other branches of law in case of regulating these relations. Developed system of law include many branches. And for example, the traditional branches of Ukrainian law, maybe you remember, traditional branches of Ukrainian law. Students, are you here?
Традиционные?
Yes, traditional branches of Ukrainian law. Do you remember some branches or not? I said about these branches a few minutes ago many times.
Звичаї, традиції,
No. Branches. Отраслі. Галузі. Так? Don't you remember? It's very
Civil law?
Yes, it's very important topic. You should know because later you will study every branch of law. Yeah, you will have discipline. For example, civil law. Then
Administrative law.
criminal law.
Administrative.
Administrative law, you're absolutely right, of course. And this is the traditional branches of Ukrainian law. Constitutional law, yeah? Constitutional law, administrative law, civil law, criminal law. But I should say that these branches, these traditional branches of law coexist with such new branches of law. And here we can speak about the tax law, banking law, economical law, and so on. For example, even city law, yeah, city law. It's so many new branches in our Ukrainian law, because of course our Ukrainian law just have a development, yeah. So now I hope that you understand our topic and the main part of the system of law, and that it is branches of law, branches of law. And now you remember the name of these branches of law, not sources, yeah, but branches of law. Okay. Any branch of law is a subsystem which consists of institutes of law. Yeah, institutes of law. Here we should understand that branches, yeah, consist of institutes of law. Then the criteria of differentiating of the branches of law are the following. And if you remember, when I spoke about definition of the branches of law, I said about some method, yeah, method of the legal regulation. But before method of the legal regulation, I should say about the object, because the main criteria of differentiating of the branches of law are object of legal regulation and branch method. Object and branch method. So, what is the object or area of legal regulation? It is a type of social relations which is regulated by the branch of law. Just some type of social relations. Yeah. And how can we define some type of social relations in the sphere of some branch of law? Do you know or not?
Я не совсем.
No? Okay. I'll say. So, if you will speak about constitutional branches of law, of course it will be constitutional legal relation. It's absolutely simple situation, yeah? In the sphere of the civil branch of law, we'll speak about civil relations, yeah? And so on, so on. So this criterion answers the question, what is regulated by the branch of law? Yeah, what is regulated by the branch of law? And here again, we can say our constitutional legal relations regulates by the constitutional branch of law. Administrative legal relations regulates by the administrative branch of law. Yeah, very simple approach here. It's object. And next criteria, branch. Yeah, branch method, sorry, branch method of the legal regulation. And the criterion answers here, yeah, the criterion answers the question, how are social relations regulated by the branch of law? How? Yeah. When we'll speak about object, it's the question, what is regulated by the branch of law? Yeah. And when we speak about the branch method, how are social relations regulated by the branch of law? And here we should speak about main methods of the legal regulation. And main methods of the legal regulation are imperative and optional. Yeah, imperative and optional. Maybe you remember another word And you can say not optional. I'm sorry, something happened. Not optional, but dispositive. Yeah, not optional, but dispositive. I think that it's not
Hypothesis, hypothesis, как там еще?
no,
Disposition and sanction?
no,
Нет?
no.
Нет.
You said now about the elements of the norm. Yeah, elements of the norm, just norm. But now I said I'm speaking about methods of social regulation by some branch of law. Yeah, and again, you remember that branches of law: administrative, constitutive, yeah, then criminal, and so on. Yeah, and in some branches of law, it depends on a method of social regulation, yeah, by the branch of law. We can use imperative and dispositive method. Императивный и диспозитивный, yeah, imperative and dispositive. But the right name of this dispositive method, optional. I'll explain what is this. For example, imperative method is a method of imperious orders, which contains as a rule norms prohibitions and norms duties. Yeah, we will not speak about the structure of the norm. We just speak about norms. Yeah, norms as the structural elements of some branches of law. So the imperative methods can be understood through the norms prohibitions and norms duties. And of course, here we should say that it is used mainly in the criminal, administrative, and some other branches of law. So the imperative norms of law cannot be changed by arrangement between the participants of legal relations. Yeah. And if you remember, in the sphere of criminal law, administrative law, the sum subject should be, do you know who or what? Don't you know?
К императивному или что именно?
Yes, I asked about imperative method and I asked about some branches. Yeah. And I asked about subject of these branches of law, the main subject. And of course, when we know this subject, we can say, oh yes, this branch with imperative method, not optional. Okay, I'll say it's state, yeah, state, because only in some branches of law, for example, criminal and administrative, we can see such subject as state, yeah, not just the usual person, yeah, not physical person, but state. And of course, with such subject, we can apply the imperative method. Another method, the optional method. The optional method is opposite to imperative, of course. It enables subject to choose way of conduct within the framework of law. And this method is characteristic for the civil, family, economical law, and so on. I hope here you can understand the difference between imperative and optional method. Yeah, imperative with some imperative instruments, yeah, norms, prohibitions, norms, duties, and optional method is opposite to imperative. And here, some persons, some subjects of some social and legal relations can choose way of conduct. Choose way of conduct. In imperative method, with imperative method, we cannot choose way of conduct because we have some rules, norms, prohibitions, and norms, duties. Okay, I hope it's understandable, but if you have some questions, you can ask.
Императивный можно назвать как метод субординации?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Это оно и есть.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Subordination and coordination. Yeah, imperative method. It's like subordination. Yeah, and optional method is like
Coordination.
coordination. Yeah, disposition. Yeah, choose way of conduct. Perfect. You know something. Okay, next structural element of the system of law, the Institute of Law. The Institute of Law is an organized body of legal norms which regulates the certain group of social relations. Certain group. The Institute of Law is a structural subdivision of the branch of law. And if you remember, at the beginning of our lecture, I said about examples of some institutes. And again, I should say that there are many institutes in every branch of law. And for example, another example, the branch of labor law includes institutes of labor discipline, disciplinary accountability, labor safety, and so on. So it was just a theory, yeah, some structural elements and so on. And now I want to say something about the main branches in English law, because you know some main branches in Ukrainian law, but in English. It's contract law, constitutional law, like in our system of law, administrative law, tort law, family law, criminal law. And here you can see that if we'll compare some system of law, for example, Ukrainian and English, yeah, we can see the similar branches and not similar. Yeah, for example, tort law, contract law, and it's something new for us. But sometimes in Ukrainian law, some scientists write about the contract law too. So English contract law is an influential system regulating the law of contract that operates in England and Wales. Its doctrines form the basis of contract law across the Commonwealth, including Australia, Canada, India, New Zealand, and South Africa, and more generally through common law world and in international law. I should say that many people think of a contract as written agreement